Jack's RPG Podcast. I'm in Max. Pursuing the RPG hobby with reckless abandon.
Why, hello, and welcome to Season 22, Episode 16 of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
My name is Kimmy.
I'm Chris.
Yes.
And Chris, who the hell are you and how did you get into my house?
Yes.
I was going through your trash, and you said,
cans.
hey, do you want to be on a podcast? I was like, great.
Sure.
Sign me up.
I did say that.
Actually, I've just been stalking Happy Jacks at con for the last few years and finally got my way.
Because you're local if you consider the West Side to be local.
Yeah, well, tonight I don't.
Right.
2 hours, you know.
You had to cross the Great Divide.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So, and you've got a game that's published and out and available now. What is that? Talk about that.
Yeah, the happiest apocalypse on Earth.
Yes.
Yes, it is a Lovecraftian jaunt through children's theme parks.
Awesome.
And it was kickstarted earlier this year, and it's been a hell of a ride. But very excited about that project and all of the other projects that I find myself stumbling into.
So you paid off your mortgage.
Oh, yeah.
Right, from the proceeds.
Are you kidding? Yeah. I live in a sweet life now.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's sweet.
Moving to the south of France?
Yeah. I was able to get a Starbucks and everything.
Ooh.
Well, a cup, not a store. All right. In this episode of Happy Jack's RPG Podcast, that was me licking my thumb.
Yes.
And that didn't actually help me turn the page at all.
Not at all.
Kevin
interview.
from JackMonkeyGames.com writes in about NPC plot immunity.
Immunity.
Mike from PA, I believe that's Pennsylvania, or it could be PA.
I think it's Paul.
It could be. Believes he has a dice curse. Larry sends us a Gameday report and a question, and Jimto sends us an annoying con game story. I don't know if the con game is annoying or if the story is annoying. We'll have to find out.
Maybe both.
It could be. Is your mic on? Your mic is sitting sideways.
Oh, sorry. Maybe both.
That was a little loud.
Okay.
That's all right. It's fine.
It was enthusiastic.
Yes.
There.
But first, before we get to that, if you'd like to email us, you can email us at happyjacksrpg@gmail.com, happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. We're on all of the social medias.
We are.
Media.
Pinterest?
No.
Oh. I'll get on that.
I'm on Pinterest. No, don't.
Happy Jack's RPG, all one word. And if you'd like to watch the show live, we stream the show at 7-ish p.m., as those of you watching live know.
We had technical difficulties.
We had technical
today.
difficulties. None of our mice worked. Look at this. I got four mice in front of me.
Four.
I have four
and
here.
That's not even the one we're using.
And none of them work. And one of them is brand new.
We literally just bought it. It's very frustrating. Everything's fine.
Sorry, Canada. But if you'd like to email, or if you'd like to watch the show live, you can go to happyjacks.org/live. Ooh, Korean. Happyjacks.org/live, and the links to the Twitter and the links, or the Twitch, and the links to the YouTube, which they got us still sitting
For
in the
another
corner.
week and a half. And then we'll be able to stream live to YouTube too at the same time.
Until we have a technical problem and happen to stream twice.
We never have technical problems, except for now today.
Very
Right.
smooth. Very smooth.
It is smooth, slick as snot on a doorknob.
Paper.
Wait,
All right.
no, that's not slick.
Well, yeah, it's an irony.
Yeah.
Nice
I mean, I guess
Now,
it depends on the consistency of the snot.
Or how long it's been there.
Yeah. Those are all variables in this.
Mucus. Okay.
Now, before we start, if people want to get the happiest apocalypse on Earth, where do they go?
Oh, well, I guess the best place to go is my website because I get more money if you buy it from there. But that also means I have to print out the label and send it. Which it's a disaster.
Although,
we're good at that,
I did
right?
T-shirts, and I printed out, or had to print out labels, because when the T-shirt finally came out, every day I'm getting 4 or 5 emails for T-shirts, and it's like there's an hour every day I'm printing out labels and printing stuff and packaging.
It's not a burden, except that our personal mail carrier doesn't ever pick up the outgoing mail.
Oh.
So I'll have the envelope nicely done, put out for her, and she just leaves it. So I have to go and find one of the blue boxes, which are never anywhere you think they would be. You
No.
know, they're not at any grocery store.
Oh, I think most of them now are gone. I think most of them are in front of post offices.
There's one on Pico and Westwood.
Oh, you do still have
Yeah,
some. Okay.
yeah, and I have to cut across traffic
Right.
and park in somebody's lawn to get. Anyway, go to my website, and I will send you a book. Christopher.world. You can get my game there. Also, drive-through. That way, it gets into your drive-through library, and they do print on demand, so you can get it that
Oh,
way
cool.
too.
Excellent. Woot.
Very good.
All right. Well, since you're a guest, do you want to read the first email?
Of course,
Do the thing.
I have to get the glasses.
Yes.
I wear
2 years
progressives.
ago, I didn't have to do this,
Oh, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I've had to have mine since like 4th grade.
and I have to look like this. You know,
That's you do.
like condescending.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
You have to push them up a little bit too when you're cooking.
Well, actually,
I'm sorry.
I think I did an entire character in your game like this.
You did.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was so perfect.
It was mostly so I could read the character sheet. but I folded it
Nobody
into...
suspected it. Seemed like the
good,
character.
Good. Okay, hello from Sydney. I found an interesting solution to a problem. So working on this AP podcast, I assume that means actual play,
Actual
play, yes.
not Associated Press,
No.
no, I don't
Actual
think so.
play.
on this actual play
Although
podcast.
the Associated Press should have a podcast, if they don't.
They
I thought they
probably do. At least have. Yeah.
Find out.
We have
Find
a way
out.
to find
You can
it.
keep
Okay.
reading. I'll find out right
Yeah.
now.
Where I this AP podcast where I mix voice acting to do world building and occasionally NPC voice. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Through my efforts, I was able to get a professional voice actor to volunteer to the voice of the season 1 and 2 villain.
Ooh.
In my excitement, I wrote all of the scenes for season 1 and 2.
Okay.
Bold. In advance, and I sent the script to the actor who did an amazing job. All is going according to plan till I remembered something very important. I think that's what's bold about this.
Yep.
If the players kill the NPC in season 1,
Dun dun dun.
I have wasted all of that work and effort. Not to mention free voice acting.
Right.
Well, it's voice acting for exposure, probably.
Maybe. Because people who are artists love working for exposure. That's our favorite
Goes
thing.
right in the pocket. 2 rules of game mastering that I hold dear are staring me in the face at this point. Number 1, never put anything in front of the players you don't want them to kill.
That's an important rule.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 2, having a villain have plot immunity is no fun to players and will build resentment.
Also
Yep.
important.
Well, you figured it out.
Those are good rules.
Faced with this, I started to think, what would happen if I told the players in advance they could not kill the NPC? What do you think about that?
Well, let's get to the end and then we'll talk.
I did just that.
Okay.
I told the players that the NPC was important to next session and could not die. They could capture, kick the shit out of him, disrupt his plans, but he could not die due to plot reasons. I'm even willing to offer extra XP to players who find a reason to not kill the NPC.
Now, what if they happened to tear out his vocal cords?
Amazing.
You know what I would have done? I would have gotten, Doritos, right? And some cheese dip, and I said, you can have a Dorito if you do not kill my NPC.
Dorito. Take the Dorito.
Dorito and cinnamon.
Yeah.
In that way, so I didn't have to step in as a GM, such as when the NPC is bloody and on the ground, hiding the gun to his head and saying, you are lucky, you have the information we need, or killing you would be mercy, making it sound convincing, of course.
Right.
Killing you would be mercy.
Yes.
Asking the player's permission was one of the best ideas. The actual battle was perhaps one of the best ones we have had as a group, and the feedback from the players was that knowing that they could not kill the NPC did not remove any of the fun from the battle. However, if I did some hand-waving to make the NPC come back without talking to them first, they would have been pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin,
I don't understand that last bit. Wait,
PS drink.
However, if I did some hand waving to make the
So,
NPC come out without
if
talking,
he hadn't
They weren't
explained,
pissed.
hey, you
Oh.
guys can't kill the NPC.
right?
Like if
Okay.
they'd just been like, magically he's
I thought,
alive again.
I thought like they kicked the shit out of the NPC and sent him out of town. But if he came back without checking with us first,
No.
Okay.
Like they were like, okay, we can't kill him, but they're like, oh, it's his magic twin brother. Aha!
Right.
Like then they would have been pissed.
I think that it's always good to talk to players.
Mm-hmm.
I found that the gotcha doesn't work anymore on the player side or the GM. I mean, because the players do that too. Well, they'll look at I'm going to triangulate these 5 things, and surprise my players, surprise surprise the GM, make them flat-footed. Gotcha.
I love it when they do that.
But GMs, I mean, talking to the players is a good idea. I'd like to think about this. I mean, what about telling them you cannot as a plot element?
I think you have to phrase it as, please don't.
Yeah.
Because it has plot significance, and there's some investment that I want to kind of surprise you with later.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think most people would be cool with it.
Yeah, and especially if you're doing, like, I think this is one of the things that kind of makes our APs very different than other APs. Like, because we don't edit ours, we don't, like, ours are, like, raw on the table. There's, when we fuck up, they're there. You can hear everything about it. Like, when the players can't think of something funny or edgy, like, there's that pause while we're trying to think of something funny to say, or what would my character do right now?
There are APs that are designing the game and designing the narrative specifically for the audience, which has some merit, I think.
Absolutely.
But it's very different, and it takes a lot more work.
Right.
I think.
And I think the fact that this
As
is an
he's
AP,
showing in this,
which is great. I mean, that's amazing, and those are so popular. Some of the most popular APs out there are highly produced, highly scripted, highly planned. And that doesn't detract from their entertainment value or how great they are or getting people into the hobby and things like that. So I see this as very separate advice from what I would tell a regular, like, a table of players.
Yes.
So, like, those are, the two rules that you brought up, Kevin, are awesome. Like, never put anything in front of the players that you don't want them to kill, because we will kill it. And then, two, have a villain with plot immunity isn't any fun. But when you are working, it's a collaborative storytelling experience.
Yes.
A collaborative storytelling experience for a produced AP like this is different than it would be for just, like, a fucking let loose table.
Exactly.
And I think that's okay. And it sounds like you handled it great. It sounds like your players still had a great time. It sounds like you still get to use your amazing thing that you created.
Oh yeah, the voiceover.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
If this was a home game, I would say, why are you planning out so much stuff that you know that you have pre-recorded voiceovers for 2 seasons? You know what I mean? Because one of the things I got so many irons in the fire, but one of the things I'm doing for Vast Dominions, the Mont setting, it takes place in the, like, not quite the teens. It's like 1900s. They have discovered something like radio. It's called telewave, and they can record on these, like, wax discs and listen to recordings that have been transmitted across space. One of my plans, because I bought vastdominions.com, one of my plans is to put resources up there where it's like I'm going to put on the compressor and screw up the EQ on there. And it's like, greetings to all space fans across the gut, right? And I'm going to do announcement things, but they're going to have to be super generic because they might introduce a plot point. Maybe I'm going to write some, one-sheet adventures that people can get, and then you can go to the web page and you can download the MP3s of the announcer announcing the news story that sets off the plot hook.
Right.
But I can't really do much more than that because I don't know what they're going to do. Who knows, right?
Right.
But it's that kind of a problem. It's like, especially if he's got someone who's willing to do this gratis.
Yeah.
I understand wanting to get as much out of him as possible. But I don't know. I mean, in a normal game, I wouldn't want to be bound to try to make sure all that stuff got used.
Right.
I wonder the extent of the dialogue too. I mean, I use this platform called Sirenscape, which does really great sound effects, and some of them are voice acting. In fact, Matt Mercer did a couple of them with his fabulous hair. The hair doesn't come with the program, but
but you can see a YouTube video and see that.
Yeah, and you can watch it. Yeah,
hey, we've got Stork. We've got fabulous hair here. Okay.
Yeah, but there are NPC things in there, but there are always things like, no, don't hurt me, or, I will destroy, and they're just generic. You just play it.
Sound bites from like a video game or something.
Right,
almost. Yeah.
Right. And those are great, I guess. But I just wonder, having scripted everything out was bold.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And I think, I think like what you're saying, like, at a normal game, I think as a player, I would be like, what do you mean we can't kill? What? Like, I think I'd be annoyed by that.
Well, it would make me want to kill.
Yeah. Yeah, rage,
unless
like
there
increasing.
Was Doritos.
It's like when,
I can't kill him?
Yeah.
Then you better not put him in the same room with me, because now I'm definitely going to kill him.
like, this is going to seem very odd, but okay, I went into the library at my school the other day, and there's a little X on the wall with electrical tape, and a little sign above it that says, "Do not touch."
Sounds like an experiment.
Right?
It might be.
The first thing I did was look around to see if somebody was, like, filming, because I'm like, this is an elementary school library. Like, and there's, like, you can tell, like, there's actually probably a hole behind it, but you can tell that because the electrical tape has been stretched by everybody pressing in the middle.
Of course. Probably right behind it is, like,
something,
a bare 880 wire or something.
Something awful. But it was literally, like, the worst thing you can do to people is be like, oh, here's the thing. Don't touch it.
Don't press that button.
Here's a cool NPC. Don't kill him.
Right.
It's like, I feel I'm going to kill him right now.
Right.
Right now.
Why does he have a stupid face?
Yeah.
Take this guy down.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous.
What you do is make the NPC really endearing and lovable.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Oh, wait, no, that wouldn't work either.
No,
it's a villain.
Eventually, yeah. But yeah, I mean, having that discussion about, you know, when you're using this many resources, when it is for, you know, production other than your own shits and giggles, and you give a shit, like we don't, because we just play for our own shits and giggles, and you guys just hang out for some reason, I don't know.
For the most part.
Yeah. Until you don't, and then you leave. But then
Right.
you're not hearing us anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And more giggles than shits, really.
Depending on who's playing and what they've eaten. I think that's accurate.
Not in this. This prohibited in this one.
Yes, I know that. In this, in
This is going
the
a
bathroom
direction.
here.
This is going up.
This is all right.
I think I have a no poop sign that's over there
You do?
specifically for that door.
Uh-huh.
Because it's a small space.
You had to put a sign up, which means
Yep.
there was.
Oh yeah. Well, this is also the same place where the boggards record.
Yeah.
And so one of them says, "Oh man, that fourth bean burrito really did me in. Excuse me for a second." Next thing you know, we're taking a break for 4 hours.
Yes. Yeah, it is more of a bogger problem than a Happy Jacks problem now.
Yes. Yes.
Now.
Well, the Happy Jacks crew has changed significantly over the
Yes.
years too. It started out with many of them being boggards, and now we've skewed as the pool has grown.
Yes. Yeah. The boggard
Continue smaller, like
ratio.
the ratio.
The ratio is much smaller. Now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much there
Yeah.
for the email. And if anyone wants to check out his website, because he put it on there,
Yeah.
it's probably why you emailed to begin with, huh?
Oh.
JackMonkeyGames.com. That's JackMonkeyGames.com.
Yes. Very cool.
Kevin from Sydney.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Oh no, I've got the curse from Mike in PA. Paw.
Wait, there's a thing above that.
Oh, you want to talk about what'd you play?
This week.
Excuse me. Sorry,
What is
Canada.
this? Okay. We played L5R.
It really reeks.
I know.
It really
It's bad.
reeks. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
really sorry.
All right. So we played L5R on Sunday. Remember? You were there.
Yes, we played. I didn't play. I GM'd, but
You
yes,
GM'd.
I do remember
Yes.
us playing.
GMing is playing.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it's playing. Sometimes with as much as we talk, it's just sitting and watching.
Yes.
A lot of that happens. And it was pretty awesome. It was like we were missing Dave, but we've added Eli in that game, and he's a great addition, and he really knows the system really well, which is great. Yeah, it was super fun.
It was more of a setup for the next arc.
Right.
More than anything else,
Which
because
is great.
not a lot of stuff happened. I mean, there was a little bit of combat.
Yeah, but I think those games are important too. Like, you know, in the ebb and flow of a campaign, if every single game is just action, I
Right.
think you can get burned out too. I think it's important sometimes to have especially in a game like L5R where the political aspect is so important as well.
Yeah.
To have some of those, okay, we're just going to kind of strategize and figure out what our next moves are. And we did that. And it was fun and good. And you should go watch it or listen to it. I think it's out.
It's not up yet.
No,
I don't
it's
think
gonna be
so. I
out.
think I'm behind. I don't know. Let me see the sheet. I can tell you right now if I'm
Okay.
behind.
Well, you should catch up then. And then Wednesday,
Oh yeah, I'm behind.
you're way behind. All right. So it'll be up soon
Yeah.
after this weekend. Usually they come out like the week after they're done. So it should be out like Monday, right? Sunday night?
Yeah. No, I'll put it up. I'll probably put it up this weekend.
Okay.
I'll probably put it up this weekend.
And then Wednesday we had the first episode, like play episode
Vault 818?
of Vault 818.
Yes.
which is Apocalypse World. That game is off the fucking rails. Like, character creation, it was, like, skewed to the side. It was amazing.
Perfect.
It's going to be crazy.
Are there Pit Boys in blue suits, or did you guys kill all that
No,
stuff too?
I have that, but Samantha joined that game.
I did walk through here and someone said, okay, no one else can take powered armor. I did hear Jason say that.
I'm the only one with powered armor. So I play the driver, and that we've switched that to be a power armor thing. And then Samantha has a cult again. She somehow managed... Hi, Stork, come on in.
Did you forget?
I took your seat.
It's okay.
No, you're all set. Stork's finally here.
Yay, Stork. Anyway, so...
We started at 8, right?
No,
7.
We started at 7 for like 8 months now. Or actually, almost a year.
It's been a long week.
That's fine.
Anyway, so Samantha...
Thank you.
You're welcome. I found it sitting on the
Anyone
floor.
want to buy tickets?
All right, so Samantha also has a cult again. So we are in a vault. We are the children of Hollywood celebrities. Like, not the children, but like the great-great-great-great-grandchildren of... So we have actually, like, skewed their movies and, like, legend. And so she created a religion of Ziggy Stardust and Lady Gaga because she's their descendant.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that is the religion of our vaults. Mm-hmm. And there's, like, dance numbers.
Right.
It's way off the fucking rails.
There's a prayer
It's
to the
amazing.
Thin White Duke. It's
There
actually
are.
really cool. If you read
The
the
Thin
forum,
White
it's
Duke?
the Thin
Yeah.
White Duke. That was one
Both of you
of
scoot this way.
David Bowie's.
Right.
One of David Bowie's
Yeah.
persona was the Thin White Duke, which
Okay.
is, I think, my favorite
Yeah.
of his personas.
And it's just the most fucking weird and epic thing. You know how Samantha can like make something weird, and it's just so good, and you're just like,
Right.
you're so
Well, let me put it
normal
this way.
looking until that happens.
Samantha's very good at making things from whole cloth.
Yeah.
Right.
And
she's
she
also-
literally created a religion from the ground up, and with the help of the forum.
She also will take disturbing things and make them funny. Like which in the vampire game, she wanted to own a U-boat, so she bought a U-boat.
She bought a U-boat.
So as a gift, I don't remember which NPC it was, but one of the NPCs went and found a bunch of an old U-boat, U-boat crew.
That was you, dude.
No,
That
it was
you.
me. No, it was me. No, but I'm getting to the funny part, which was not me.
Both of you scoot this way more.
But
There you go. All right.
basically, someone went around and scoured the world for people who had worked on been on U-boats who were Gould.
Yeah.
So they would live a long time, and found an entire crew and gifted a crew of U-boat crew to her, and then she came to the realization, oh yeah, they would be Nazis. So she sent them to sensitivity training.
I'll never forget that reveal too.
Right.
Which was, I think it was your favorite little Nosferatu, and he's like, Your Grace, there's Nazis on the beach. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. No. They're legitimate, like, saluting Nazis on the beach. You need to get down here now.
Yeah.
And she shows up, and they're all like, and I remember...
Oh, no, you can't do that anymore.
Well, no,
Right.
whatever.
Don't do
But it was
No, that's what she said to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But it was a thing, and it was very funny the way you presented that, the way that unfolded, and we all sat there and we went. And I remember Mac got up, and Mac, who's in this game, and she gets up, and I hear her giggling all the way to the bathroom, and I hear her in the bathroom going. It was such a slow reveal. It's like, oh my god, there's Nazis on the beach. Oh my god, oh my god. It was like 3 layers. It was genius.
But it's also a cool gift, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
here's an actual U-boat crew for your U-boat.
Yeah.
How
the way
did
that-
the sensitivity training go?
We never really got to that because the shit hit the fan very soon after that, and she actually needed that boat to get away.
They're Gould, so pretty much anything you want, they'll kind of do. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing it probably went fine.
Yes, it would. People are asking for the soundboard. Hold on.
Stork's hair is great!
Nobody,
They are.
Yes, they are.
Nobody ever asked
Yeah.
for the sound.
I'm
No,
gonna give
they're doing it.
Here,
Why problem make
Stork's
when
hair
you
is
know
great.
problem have you don't want to make?
Go on, Baton!
Welcome to Costco.
I mean, it's not Matt.
I love you.
Oh, what a
Ours is
name!
better, man.
All right, there you go.
Ours is
They
the
got some
original.
Yeah, this is a good soundboard. There's some good shit on here.
Matt was on our show before.
Yeah, I know. Before he was big. You're Matt Hipster.
Well, he was big back then. He was just doing voiceover work, though. So, he just did a lot of
And he was
voiceover work.
he was in Tappy's games. Tappy was in his gaming group.
I do have a great Matt Mercer story,
Oh, yeah.
which I'll make brief.
Okay.
I was at Fair, and he was there.
He does that.
This last season, yeah.
No, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, he goes every year.
And I saw his hair first. Right.
That's fabulous.
And I looked to my wife. I said, "That's Matt Mercer." And she says, "Who?" I said, "Matt Mercer." I got to go say hi to him. I got to shake his hand and thank him for being Matt Mercer. And I'm fanboying, right? Sorry. And I get over to him, and somebody moves out of my way so that he sees me coming, moves out of my way, and I go and I shake his hand. He's very gracious, very nice. And I said, thank you, keep up the good work. Just wanted to meet you. And I walked away, and I turned back, and I realized the entire cast was there.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
And I just completely bulldozed past all of them.
Rubbed him out.
Great, and so I felt like an asshole.
Well, Tellison was a boggart for like 5 minutes once, wasn't he?
True
Was
that.
it-
Yeah.
It was
Did he
about
pass
that.
the audition?
He actually passed the audition.
Did he?
And then
You
he
sure?
called in the next week and said, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that, but did we actually let him in, or did he just assume we let him
This is
in?
inside baseball stuff. We really shouldn't go into
I'm
this.
kidding.
He's famous now. You let him in.
No, I didn't think we turned
He
him
was
in.
famous before. He was famous before. He's a child actor.
He was a child actor, yeah.
Go
And
watch
he worked
Mr. watch
fair
Mr.
for
Mom.
years. He was a...
No, I remember him from
whatchamacallit?
there.
Yeah. Sorry for outing you, Tellison, but yes, child actor. He's been
With the oars, what do you call those guys?
canoers.
No,
No.
the inventors.
Kayakers?
Guild.
No,
Yeah.
he wasn't an inventor. He wasn't an inventor. What did they
know.
call? What was the guild that Engie
The Sea Dogs.
ran? Not the Sea Dogs.
Oh.
It's
The other sailing guild with oars.
Orman?
The Mariners.
Mariners.
Oh.
The Mariners. Yes, I knew it. Would,
yeah.
I knew
That was
someone
way
would
off.
say that word
He
eventually.
used to come get drunk with Tappy at the stage all the time.
Oh yeah.
All the
Oh
nights.
no, he didn't. No, he came over and they would enjoy some water.
Water.
Water, yes.
I mean, a long time ago, not anytime recently. Obviously, we all follow the rules now.
My recollection is that he made it in, but we'll talk about this later.
No, he did. No, he did. I was
Yeah.
fucking. I
He
was
was
fucking
in.
with
He
him.
was in.
Because if he in the event he ever sees us, I want him to go, "Oh, you fuckhead!"
Right, anyway,
All right.
this is not interesting to anybody who wants
Oh,
to play
no.
RPGs. This is very self-indulgent of us. So
Oh no, I've got the curse from Mike in Pennsylvania.
I feel like Stork should read this specifically.
No, but I
That'd
just
be great.
started it.
No,
Okay,
nothing-
go
I have
ahead.
nothing to read it off of.
Oh yeah, here you want some sheets?
No,
Here's
that's
some
okay.
pages.
No, go ahead.
You're going to do it from
It's,
memory?
Stu traditionally reads the first one.
Well, this is the
not-
second
this is
one.
the
We let
first-
him read
yeah.
the first one because he was the guest.
Wow, is that late?
we start at 7 now.
I know.
We start at 7.
Oh no, I've got the curse from Mike in PA. You want me to read this instead of you? Because I think we're suffering.
I know.
from the
I'm
same.
the new.
Hi, ladies and gents, and Stork. It's about time I sent another email round to you guys. This time, it comes with some sad news. I've realized I'm the person in the group that has the shitty luck. I'm cursed. My friends and fellow gamers grimace and sigh before I roll. I can barely look at my rolled dice pools without wincing. I'm looking for games that aren't D20 based to avoid the flat probability curve. Who am I kidding? It's more like a declining line. My regular GM has come to expect little success from my character's actions. I'm the East Coast Stork. My question to you is thus. How can someone with shit luck expect to survive in a low hit point, deadly systems I enjoy? How does Stork deal with his storkiness? How do I deal with this in real life? Dissad. I recall on several occasions a suggestion to role play more and roll less as an option. I like rolling dice, though, despite my fortunes. What do I do? The bus is going 60 miles an hour. What do you do? That aside, keep up the great work on the show. The diversity of voices, opinions, and personalities brings nuance, humor, and excitement to every episode and keeps the show one of my favorites. Stay amazing.
Well, thank you.
Best wishes, Mike from PA.
Yeah.
You may have noticed in my role-playing style that I talk a lot, and that's mostly to avoid rolling dice.
Right. You try to divert the GM from the mechanics.
I have
Yeah.
even said to Stu, well, I've got some bonuses in hunting. Can I use hunting instead of investigate? No, investigate. But I'm really good at hunting. Isn't hunting like investigate? No, it's clearly an investigation roll. but I'm hunting like tracks. No, it's an investigative roll. Damn it. Roll. Fail. So, the only advice I can give to you is try really hard to play towards whatever skills you have that are good. Try try to frame them in your role playing, this is if you're actually going to get to role playing, if you're actually going to get to rolling dice, because I try to role play it out as much as I can, because, well, let's face it, my luck is a black hole.
Yeah, it is.
And I'll tell you this. It's actually improved my role playing, and it's actually improved my appreciation. It actually improved my appreciation of games, because having to talk your way out of fights, having to talk your way out or talk your way in to places is much more interesting than just saying, I roll to see if I defeat the guard. I roll to see if I outwin him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the visual disability that you compensate through, hearing better and your sensors. Yeah.
Well,
embrace it.
Well, yes, and because I don't want to roll a randomizer, I'm actually trying to move the game in different ways and maybe influence the game to my advantage. Now, a good GM, a crafty GM like Stu, will say, no, you're effing with this too much.
Or they'll go with it. Like, it's also,
they'll go with
yeah.
it. Go ahead. Yeah, pick that up.
First off, there's no such thing as dice curse.
True.
And we see that, to be fair, we see that on L5R, because you usually roll really well in L5R.
You don't do bad in L5R at all.
It's a randomizer. I agree there's no such thing as a curse. I'm not that superstitious. But
Now, if you
but
actually
it's funny
think
to
that
believe
there's
it.
something
It's funny.
wrong, if you actually think there's something wrong with your die rolling, you might not be rolling fair dice. That's possible.
Yes.
I mean, it's possible that you have that dice can be
Unbalanced.
skewed.
Yeah.
There was a time when you
Switch
went
out
with
the
the you were like
Luzachi
obsessed with
and the
dice.
Game Science dice. That's right.
Yes.
Game Science dice.
Game Science dice.
Fairest dice to make. If you're using D6s, use casino dice because they're balanced.
Yeah, I find the balanced ones actually work worse because they're actually accurate.
They're
like
fair,
if you get the Chessex ones, you're going to roll better.
I also
And
discovered
if you're rolling opposed rolls, and you have the Chessex and the other guy has the casino dice.
Right.
I have a pair of like perfectly balanced metal dice that I got as a wedding present. They're 2d6s. They're like the ones I bring out when I it's an important fucking roll. And it the holes are drilled into different levels.
So the
D6,
weight's the same on every.
Yeah, so the D6 holes are pips are barely drilled in, but the one on the other side is drilled in much farther, so
Right.
it's perfectly balanced in every way.
I can mess that up and put something in stuff
No,
something inside. Get a little lead and stick it
Someone
down
paid
in
$60 for 2 dice. It was
even
ridiculous.
just a cran would throw it off.
Right. But if
Evil.
but I mean, obviously this is a joke question. But if you really think there is a problem, put a pad of paper next to you, and if it's a D20 game, roll the D20 and write down every number you roll. And look, now obviously, one game session, you're not rolling enough numbers to actually really start to see the distribution. You're going to have to play hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games to actually be able to see if your distribution on your dice
There's
is
a big
fair.
problem with that strategy.
What's that?
You waste the rolls. And
Yeah.
all the juju goes away.
Right.
And if
It's
you roll a
science.
20, you're fucked because you don't get that 20. later.
He's right. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm
Never
with
roll
you.
the dice before
Yeah.
the session.
Every
No,
guy is
no.
born with only so many 20s in it.
I've had them trained the whole time, and I want to take them out.
And they go to
20
dice jail. The third one, they go to dice jail.
He's right.
It's like the Every Sperm is Sacred song. It's like, don't waste your 20s.
Don't waste them.
I'm thinking of the Dum Dum Bullets from Roger Rabbit, where they're like, they don't know which direction to go when they get fired because they're just.
But if when you're in the course of the game, write down all the numbers you roll, and then actually look at it at the end of the night. Because we realized after playing L5R with Stork for a while, Stork does not roll shitty.
No.
He rolls shitty
When
at critically important times. And somehow the dice know that. The
Seemingly.
spirits
Even with the
inside
fools
the
you
dice.
Comedy in the dice.
The comedy in the dice.
Here's the thing. I've embraced the failures, and I think that's actually kind of rare in a lot of role-playing games, that people embrace their failures.
Yeah.
When the dice tell you failed, there's nothing you can do to undo that. You're like, well, clearly the randomizer is against me. I'm going to have to embrace the fail. And it does make for interesting storytelling, and
It does.
I think that a lot of people can learn from the fact that, well, when your randomizer just goes tits up on you, and tits up on me is a really good thing. I like that.
Sorry.
I don't
keep
understand.
forgetting.
I
Sorry,
know.
Canada.
Anyway,
I'm afraid to ask you to explain.
I got caught up in the metaphor.
Okay.
I'm carrying on. Embrace the fail. Like, all right, I know I rolled crappy. I know this is going to be bad. It's bad. All right, here is what's going to happen. So, I think that the fails make a more interesting story than the successes do. We've talked about this before.
It depends.
Yeah.
If you're
It depends on the system too.
And if you're playing in a long drawn out D&D combat, and you're in the middle of the combat, failures to hit are not interesting.
No.
And if the GM tries to make them interesting, everyone's going to get annoyed because it's taking so long between rolls.
For them to get to their, I can roll dice better than he can.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody remembers the successes.
Yeah, we
all remember the sorcerer that went down the wrong corridor.
Right, exactly, yeah.
We all remember the fails.
I know, everyone was mad. They were actually mad at you.
Still mad.
Years later.
I'm still getting email.
Accurate,
Right.
bitter as fuck.
I'm struggling right now with a play-by-post game, Lamentations of the Flame Princess. So This is OSR.
Lamentations of the Flame Princess.
Yeah, but
Very
James
D20.
Reggie.
Yeah. My character, the electronic rolls, those are the ones that I hate. When I run online games, I will use dice and just trust that the players are not lying to me because I hate the automatic rollers, probably because they're accurate and perfectly random.
Well, they may not be. Depends what they use for random number generation.
See, Stu's...
I went down this rabbit hole.
Yes, you did.
when I used to be involved in was briefly playing online poker.
Yeah.
And realized, ooh, no, stay away from that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's my character is now at the bottom of a cliff inside of a dungeon in water. Had to strip off my plate mail in order to not die.
Right.
Rescuing somebody that had also fallen.
Oh, man.
Well, he fell because I jumped on the spider that was hauling him away, and then we all fell, and it was a disaster. But I can't find him. I can't find the rope that they put down. I'm drowning, roll after roll after roll, and I'm finally like, Todd, God, can I just use my regular dice? Because
aren't there spider webs you can hang on to?
that's a good idea. Well, I can't see anything. And I keep on wasting my rolls
Clearly,
on finding
Clearly,
things.
you jumped on the spider, you fell down, there must be webs.
And it was a
on
heroic
you.
thing, I guess, because he was being pulled away,
yeah.
and I jumped on that fucker, and bam! And then we fell, and then everything since then has been hell. And I'm just like, you know what? Kill the character. This is done. I'm over.
So,
I can't believe it.
let me...
And it's play by post. This is going to take weeks.
It has. This whole scenario has taken like 3 weeks.
Awful. At some point, I feel like as a GM, you'd just be like, all right, that seems like a reasonable thing you could do. I'm not going to make you roll for that
You
shit.
found the
Like,
guy. Well, this is OSR. You roll.
Oh, yeah.
roll. Yeah. The culture is no. This is a roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, you're about to be eaten by a grue.
Yeah. Also, if you want to check the fairness of your dice, I know there's a bunch of different tests. You can Google it. There's YouTube videos and stuff about testing them in soda, as someone on the chat just did.
I'm going to start a mail order dice balancing service. Just send them to me, and I'll send them back certified. Small fee.
Yeah, if you got a dice, if you got a die with black
I know what you have
numbers,
planned. That means you're going to give them to me.
I got the number
all
of
of
the
them and send
FTC
them
right
back.
here.
Sorry.
No. See, that's when you get a crayon that matches whatever print it is, and just fill in one side so it's more even and it matches.
Yeah, I don't know what you would do if you had a die that was not balanced. You can't really balance it.
You can't.
I mean, you could drill little holes.
You can make it more unbalanced in your favor.
No,
There's
no,
certain
you could.
full moon rituals that work for me.
Yeah, it's like rubbing a potato on a wart and burying the potato in a full moon. Yeah, exactly. Exactly the same thing.
What, that doesn't work?
Of course it does.
Okay, good.
Don't you sacrifice virginity?
Bottom line is, none of
Sacrifice virginity.
It's something a lot of gamers have. I figure it's... Sorry. That was a low blow. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Eating into the stereotypes.
I know.
Way to go, Kimmy.
God. That's what I do. I totally confirm all the stereotypes of all gamers. Tabletop gamers. Is
You
what I
do. You are a walking stereotype of gamers.
Stereotype.
Stu's right. The bottom line is, when all is said and done, all the joking's around, your dice, whether they're Chessex or not, are still randomizers, and they're still going to roll much more random than anything you would ever choose to do.
If you really think that you have a problem, like really or cursed,
Yeah.
ask the GM, instead of rolling a d20, can I roll 3d6?
Or
There you go.
if you really think
least
your
it's
dice,
gonna get to the
if
middle.
somebody's
Yeah.
messed with your dice and drilled holes and put lead in them, because that's really the only way to affect a die, then you need to find another group. Because that's a really creepy.
You're going to roll that d20 so if it's got a
Right.
lead pin in it or something.
In order for it to be any use at all in a role playing game, it needs to roll a 20 a lot.
Right.
So it needs to be
Just scratch off all the numbers and write 20s on all of them.
everything.
It doesn't matter.
So It's in your head, bro.
He knows.
If you want, buy more dice.
I believe you. I'm with you.
And you just need more dice.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
it.
problem.
Yes, that
More
solves
dice.
all problems.
It does. It does.
It does, and especially there's some beautiful combinations out there right now.
With the new Vampire Edition, I had to get more dice. Because
Oh my
God.
there's blood dice now.
Yes.
And I couldn't
different
just
colors,
get
right.
the red blood dice. I had to
No.
get white ones to contrast with
Yeah.
the red ones.
Oh, sorry.
Then I realized
I listed it.
I needed sixes
To get
too,
red.
so I may as well get
Black.
matching. Oh, I should have gotten black.
Black, red, and white. Come on.
Oh, so he's gonna have to go back now.
Black and red. So
You know,
now
there's
you got to
a-
go
I
recalibrate.
fucked up. I got to do that.
There's a company, if you put in D10 sets on like Amazon or something, there's a company that sells in like a little dice bag. It's got like some Nordic thing on it, but it's 5 sets of 10 D10s in different colors, and they're very reasonably priced. I don't know where my. I think one of the sets.
Is there?
I keep it here. It's the
the
ones I
chat
gave you
room's
guys.
asking. Yeah,
That's one of the
Oh, yeah.
sets.
They're so good. I got the greenish blue ones.
Yeah.
The Ed from Minnesota is asking: is there a Happy Jacks promo code for Easy Roller Dice right now?
I don't think so.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now.
We've had it in the
We
past.
can ask
but
and
not
get
right now.
one.
I can ask him
Big fan.
if I
you
get
wait,
one.
we'll post it. It won't happen right now, but we'll post it, bring it up on the next cast because we should have a standing discount code. I feel. I feel we've earned that.
Yes.
Of the recent dice I bought, they came from Easy Roller.
Yeah.
They did.
It's entirely possible. He said, "Hey, do you guys want a promo code?" And I
Didn't reply.
didn't reply.
You got drunk and forgot.
I do that.
Yeah.
It was just in the thousands of emails that he gets every day.
That's now in one inbox.
I have one inbox for, and it's everything too. And it's
Instagram has actually been like the worst thing ever for my buying dice because I follow all these dice companies now, and there's some that like have limited runs of certain dice.
Oh,
And so you have to get it.
Yeah, and then it's like,
Yeah.
all right, Friday at 6 p.m. These dice are going live,
and that's it.
and that's it. And you're just like,
It's like
oh,
Home Dice Network.
God, it is. That's exactly what they've done. And
Only
it's
20 in
it's
stock,
like-
18, 15.
Right.
And you have to look and like, oh, I like it, but what if they come out with something better next week?
Oh,
And
yeah.
They
then
have the timer in the checkout. You've got 30 seconds to make this transaction.
They sell
It's
out
like-
super
like
fast.
stresses me
Ticketmaster,
out.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's smart.
Yeah,
wow,
Kraken,
that's
Kraken
smart.
Dice does that. And
Now, speaking of which,
Yeah.
when we were at the GameCon,
Yeah.
Dice
You were
Envy,
kidding.
Dice Envy, yes.
they have some nice dice.
I
have
have
some
2
great
sets
ones.
from the, 3 because I got one for my kid.
the
Yeah.
metal
They
ones are gorgeous.
gorgeous. They are gorgeous. I have the blue ones with the gold trim, which is my player set, and I've got the black ones with the silver trim, and that's my DM set. But I use that specifically for Strahd.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I'll go the whole game, and I have this one-shot Strahd game that I run a lot called Let's Kill Strahd. And
Great for a one-shot.
Yeah, it's great. You raid
Do
the
they actually
castle,
kill
kill
him
the
at the end?
vampire. Yeah, well, usually they do because I kind of soften it. The whole point is to experience
Sure.
killing Strahd, right? So I do nerf him a bit, but I'll play the whole game with regular dice. But when you finally confront Strahd at the end, I take out the special bag and I hold it high and go boom, 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 and then I wait, and everybody's like, "Oh, fuck." And then I pound down an initiative as hard as I can go. And I say, "Okay, roll initiative."
I love the turn of phrase. I pound initiative. Yeah, it's so aggressive. And you know what? When we're what we do is a theatrical game. It's a theatrical hobby. So adding in the dice rolling and make it theatrical too. Why not? It's like, all right, you're at the big bad. I'm going to use big bad special dice. Now your players have one more level of like that they can add to their
There's
stress.
something else I do in that session. I have this massive hourglass. It's like huge. In fact, I take it to cons on airports and I have it strapped to my bag. Security is like, "That's the most amazing thing," and then they check it out not because they're worried, because they want to look at it.
Right.
Right.
But I have that hidden, so the players don't know about it. And the conceit of the session is that
How long is it? What's the length of time?
it's an hour each.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Holy
That's
metric.
great, yeah. So the conceit of the session is that you meet Strahd, an illusion of him, and Strahd says to you essentially, "You have 1 hour to find me, or I'll find you." Everything goes dark, all the shutters close, there's wind, and then I take out the hourglass. And wham! And
Nice.
Along with your special black and silver dice.
Yeah, right. Well, that comes later. So there's 2.
There's 2 reveals.
Yeah.
See, that's very cool because you're actually bringing a mechanic into it too. That's one thing I've never thought about. I like that.
Well, you have to because you need 2 hours to kill Strahd. So we have an hour digging around, an hour messing around in the castle,
Right.
and then now we have to play. So
Right.
here's Strahd. Yeah.
Excellent. All
Right
right.
on a tangent.
And make sure that you end on time.
In a con? Yeah. First and foremost.
True, Dad.
All right, Mike from PA. Thank you for the email.
Thank
If you'd
you.
like, I can give you a blessing over the internet. It actually will work. I am an ordained minister.
Yeah, he has me help. It's great.
I actually don't have stroke help when I do this, but I'm an ordained minister with the Universal Life Church.
I am too.
Are you? Oh, no. Well, then we'll both bless you and may perhaps your.
My wife is a master in divinity.
Oh,
She
from there
spent
as well.
$50.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't spend a penny.
Yeah.
Well, the stamp.
She got the master of divinity.
Right, well, yeah, that's worth 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can put that on her resume.
I feel like I'm in a Gilbert and Sullivan patter song all of a sudden. My master of divinity, who is located in this vicinity.
That was good. That was well done, sir. You almost got a spectate.
Almost.
So close.
You got coffee up there, right?
Yeah, fine.
All right.
Welcome.
Game day report and question from Larry.
Me? Okay, I'm reading. I got the look. Dear Happy Jacks crew, I am the owner, organizer, and chief cat herder. You are after my own heart.
You know
whoever
what?
you are.
A big hand for our cheap cat herders,
Yes.
of which nothing would get done.
Amazing. For Charm City Game Day, previously mentioned by our good friend Hal in Season 22, Episode 8.
Good times.
Shout out to Hal for the plug. Gaming in Baltimore just isn't the same with you gone.
I'm sorry, Hal.
I have for you a success story and a question. First, though, I invite you to leisurely imbibe your beverage of choice while reading my
Oh,
email.
I'm going to get one right now.
I just want to know if the question is, can Hal open the pod bay doors?
Stop it. I'm trying to... Jesus
That's
Christ.
almost two. For a
you getting
small
married?
event,
Yeah.
don't be talking while I'm reading.
Sorry.
For a reasonable success game day, we had a reasonable successful game day this past weekend. We were able to run 6 tables of RPG goodness in the morning and additional 5 games for our afternoon session, including 3 sessions of the brand new Overlight RPG from Renegade Game Studios for our 42 attendees, which includes 3 parent-child pairings. While I wish our event was larger, I take a lot of satisfaction in the fact that I know all of our attendees had a great day, which at the end of the day is the most important takeaway for a con, regardless of size.
I know, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a
42,
lot.
that's pretty big con, yeah. In addition to my organizing duties, I ran an adventure of my own design for the new Star Trek Adventures. While it was the first time...
The world's first $500 RPG.
Not all versions of it are $500, just the one Dave got.
He's got the Borg cube
Yeah.
with drawers and the bookshelves and
He's very excited.
it's crazy.
Yes, and that's actually starting. The first game session is Monday.
Yeah,
So
I think it is.
You can see the giant cube. in
Yeah, they
action.
just did a like a
Care
bonus
Gen.
Care Gen
Yeah,
on Tuesday. I think.
yeah. So everyone's in the Care Gen now, and they're showing that game.
Remember the big onion cubes they used to serve at like Red Robin?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure
Like a
that's where they
bloomin'
got
onion?
the Borg from. I'm sure a bunch of drunk riders are like, what am I going to do?
Oh, those things are delicious, especially with the little dipping
Pretty
sauce.
sure
Right?
that's not how that happened. I'm pretty sure the Borg were around before. Anyway.
Deep fried onions?
Well, no, but like those specific ones in that shape at a restaurant. I don't know. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna keep reading. Star Trek Adventures.
Okay, hold on. No rules, just right. Which restaurant was that?
You know what? I don't know.
Outback Steakhouse.
It could have been. I thought it was Red Robin.
I feel
They
like
had
Outback
the-
and
they
Red
had the
Robin.
flour.
They had
Neither
the
one of
flour,
those
you're right.
predate Borg. Is going to be my guess. Possibly, I could be wrong.
I have
But I
all the
feel
sum
like
of
the
human
Borg-
knowledge right here.
You do. Okay, look that up while I'm reading.
I would guess 1997 was the Borg.
No way. No way. Borg would have to be before 1997. Because
It was pretty late.
remember what I was doing in 1997. And I was old enough to maybe know what
I was
the
in
Borg
college. Well,
was
no,
not
it would
in
have been
college.
before.
It was not anywhere near
Close,
college.
though.
But
Pretty close. I was out of college. Carry on.
all right,
Might
we're
have been
going to keep
before.
reading. He's going to look this up. It was my first time running the system at all. I was able to glean some third-hand gaming knowledge by watching a bunch of Shield of Tomorrow, Geek and Sunday's actual play series for the game. While I found these streams to be vital for my journey to system mastery, the quick start rules for the game were true lifesaver. I was wrong,
Outback Steakhouse, founded 1988.
right?
When did the Star Trek Next Generation start?
We don't know. You need to look that up too.
Okay.
All right.
It wasn't in the 80s.
No.
I graduated in '87, and it was around that time. Yeah.
And shout out to Sam DeLev, who is on Geek and Sundry Shield of Tomorrow and has been on our actual plays as well. She
Yes.
was on Interpol X with us. They were on Interpol X with us. I apologize. The quick start rules for the game were a true lifesaver by condensing the rules down into a 12-page packet of all the essential rules and, best of all, pre-generated characters. This packet saved me so much time in my prep and allowed me to focus on the story instead of trying to ingest the rules fully. After running this game for a table of eager and willing role players, I have learned a few things. 1. This game is hard to demo in a one-shot. There are a lot of core mechanics that are hard to run through in the space of 4 hours. 2. A cheat sheet is necessary. See number 1 for reason why. Use a cheat.
All games.
Yeah, all games.
Yeah,
I do it.
Absolutely.
I made a player's map for L5R.
Yep.
Use a cheat sheet as a handout would be a huge help in explaining and making players aware of the minutia of the game mechanics, namely functions of threat and momentum.
Momentum's a bitch.
I'm going to send this email to Dave, too. 3. Never let the rule of cool get overruled by the game mechanics. I frequently found myself falling back on the same bad GMing habits of having my players making a roll to determine if the thing was possible instead of saying to them, yeah, it's certainly possible. Make your roll to see if you can pull it off. This led to a lot of dice rolling that didn't really help move the story forward. All in all, I had a blast. My players had fun, and no one left the table disappointed. Well done. That's the most important thing. In fact, one of my players went out to buy the core book as soon as we finished our game.
$500.
Not
Boom.
$500. The core book is not. You have to get the whole cube for $500. And I don't think you can anymore. I think that was like a limited edition.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. With more time, experience, and a greater level of system mastery, I have a feeling this game will become one of my mainstays when choosing what game to run next. Now for my question. Well, my game went off spectacularly. We have one of our games end well short of its projected end, leaving the players at ends with what to do for the rest of the session. This was a GM-less game and very dependent on player attendance, which sadly this game lacked due to last-minute cancellation.
Which probably ran short, I assume.
I'm hoping to get your opinion on what can be done in the future to prevent this from happening at our GM-less games doomed to suffer the same fate over and over again. Thanks, and may your dice always roll in your favor, especially for poor Stork. Larry, Chief Cat Herder, Charm City Game Day. P.S. I hope you enjoyed your beverage while reading my email.
Okay, before we get to this question, Outback Steakhouse. Now, the deep fried onion may have existed before that.
Okay.
But that was the first restaurant I remember having the bloomin' onion. It was called the bloomin' onion.
Yeah.
Right. Because they cut it a bunch of ways and deep fry it.
I used to work at Chili's, and you would have this cutter that would come out.
Oh, okay.
And then you would powder it.
I believe
with
they've
flour
actually copyrighted or whatever.
I'm sure they did.
Well, bloomin' onion is probably a trademark.
Yes.
But the deep fried crisscross cut onion is probably been around a while. But 88 Outback Steakhouse. Star Trek The Next Generation started in 1987.
Oh.
However, the first Borg episode wasn't until 1989. In fact, we now have incontrovertible evidence that the bloomin' onion actually brought about the Borg. There you are. Thank you, Internet.
Correlation.
What would we do without?
Oh, never mind. Right.
You're right. I didn't get a rump out of that guy.
Statistically speaking, it would be impossible to argue that.
All right.
So, what to do about con games that end early, especially for like GM-less games that sometimes really fluctuate based on attendance?
I wish Tomer was here. He deals with this all the time.
Oh yeah, games on demand.
Yeah, because there's a lot of GM-less games that happen there, or micro games. And I know that one of the tables that he does pretty frequently is to have a series of micro games because they tend to end quickly. So he'll actually bring to the table several games. And other people will bring games too, and so they'll spend the 3 to 4 hours maybe playing 2-3 games.
Sure.
And you just, as long as you're prepared with the materials. The other thing about GM-less games is there are no GM-less games. I mean, I think that every game needs a facilitator. You know, the guy who read the book, or the woman that read the book.
At least that.
And
yes.
and
Right,
that person.
Even Fiasco isn't GM-less. There's somebody reading the rules out. Yes.
Yeah, you have to have somebody facilitating.
I think that's different though. Like a GM to me, is driving or guiding the plot. Where if you're just doing the facilitate, maybe intends to guide and drive the plot.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean they are meant to be moderating positions.
Yeah. Where it's just reading out the rules, I feel like is more.
It's the guy who read the rulebook.
Yeah.
So in a con like this, you want to make sure you have at least 1 or 2 people running these
Sure.
tables that can that can be nimble, switch between games, that can facilitate.
That was my first thought was that with this is if it's short enough where they're going to feel like they were kind of shorted, play another one, play a different one, and either that or get zombie dice.
Yeah.
Everyone loves zombie dice, right?
Or go to the hotel bar,
That's that's the other thing I thought, this must be a con without a bar, because no one would complain, like, hey, I got out early!
and that was my thought, because I have two thoughts, which is, like, oftentimes, if it was a satisfying game, and everybody was like, you got applause at the end, and you were done an hour early, I don't think anybody's going to bitch at you. No. It's a chance to go back up and freshen up, or go to the bar, grab some lunch, whatever it is. I think everybody's actually going to praise that. If, however, it ended too soon. Stu, you have an allegorical story to this, which is you had planned out a whole game, and they burned through it in the first hour and a half. And you said
that was Big Blue Monkeys from Outer Space.
Yes, it was.
The Big Red.
Yes. And you realized
Big Red Planet Hollywood was the name of the adventure.
And you realized, this isn't.
I need to go to the restroom,
and this hasn't wrapped up. This isn't this.
They got through my entire plot in about 90 minutes. So I went to the bathroom, and there was something I had mentioned to one of the players, and he's like, "I want to drive one of those," and it was like a arachnid mech with the lasers on it.
I want to drive one of those.
Laser beams.
Right. So I'm in the bathroom with a napkin, and I'm like, have them find a secret base where there's a bunch of these things, and he got to ride one of the things and got to shoot a bunch of not Nazis. This is pre-World War II, but Pickelhaube helmet guys.
Yeah.
The classic German.
That one.
That's the Nazis.
No, it was World War I. They had the little Kaiser helmet.
Kaiser guys.
Well, they used the Pickelhaube in World War II as well.
Yeah, well,
but not as often.
That's what they had to start with. But my point being,
right.
You actually.
But Stalag 13 is definitely World War II.
You went and padded out your game.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
now it's funny.
You would realize
because it seemed like it would have been too short to me. But when we ran at this last con, the Moment of Truth game, Mobile Danger Force, we did character generation. It took about a half hour, maybe, and then ran the adventure, and it got out an hour 15, hour 20, maybe early. Everyone was very satisfied with the game and how the game went. So I'm like, I'm fine. I mean, I could have gone a little further. I even told them. I said, I'll just let everyone know. The party basically has to save Apollo 11. Apollo 11 had launched the evening before, and the party they're sort of like the Mission Impossible guys, and they're told by their superiors that the Ruskies have come up with some sort of way to bomb Tranquility Base, and you got to uncover the plot and foil it before our boys land on the moon. So they go and they find they end up going off the coast of Cuba, where there's a big barge with a giant antenna on it. They crash a plane into the thing, and it falls. And so adventure's over.
Well, that's what they did, but you just set it up and they.
I just set it up and they did whatever they did. But once that was finished, and I'm like, there's an hour and a half left. I could keep going, but everyone seems satisfied. I'm going to end it right here. But I had a contingency plan for if the adventure went too quickly, and that was they're going to go up into the bridge of this barge, and there's going to be a television up there playing the recording of Neil Armstrong planting the flag. That's one small step for man.
Well played.
Right?
Well done.
And then they'd see that, but then there would be like all sorts of equipment there, and they'd realize, wait a minute, this transmission's not coming from the moon. It's coming from Hollywood. And now what does the party do?
Right.
Then they have a moral conundrum too. It's like, do they want to let them have the propaganda victory, or are they going to like expose the Nereus fake moon landing? But I ended up not using that.
Well, so here's the thing I want to ask you, because clearly, and this is the reason for having a GM, I guess, you had your foot on the brakes and the accelerator at all times. And that's probably all you were doing, which is, I'm going to slow this down or speed it up. And you gauged how it went, and you were like, da-da-da-da-da-da. That's satisfying. We're going to end it here.
Yeah.
Had it not ended up with it, if it da-da-da-da-da-da, you would have brought in your contingency plan.
Right.
I'm sorry, we're musical. I had to use it.
And we're old, so it's Looney Tunes.
that shit still holds up. Everybody still gets it.
Kimmy didn't get it.
Anyway.
Did you?
With the
No.
No, but I know that's wrong. I know that
Clink, clink.
Yeah, you stupid rabbit, it goes this way.
Yes, when you said that, I got it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so here's the crux of the biscuit, to bring it up again, which is that you were gauging the story, you were gauging the time. Nobody seemed to be having a bad time. It came to a logical conclusion, and that's great. If it hadn't, you had a contingency plan.
Yeah.
But if you're playing this game and you didn't necessarily have a contingency plan and things ended too early, and you're beating yourself up over that fact, what?
But it's a GM-less game.
Well, yeah,
That's the whole thing.
Fair
There's
enough.
no-
A
there's no-
facilitator can still do that
Fair
gas
enough.
break thing, and I think that stronger facilitators could do that. But I say, I mean, I've been to a lot of cons in different environments, and I don't care if it ends early. I usually am okay with that.
Especially if it's near a meal time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I
And
can
when
get
you
out a little
when you
early
go-
and get to the restaurant.
When you go 4 hours, 30 minutes, I start getting upset.
Yes.
You know,
Sure.
So, this is I
Absolutely.
need this time. You know, and,
Right.
and
If I've had a satisfying game experience and
Yeah.
it ended a half hour early, kudos to you, man.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you always have other small games around, because most people who play RPGs like other games too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Most people that play RPGs just want to go get water, food, go to the
That's true,
bathroom,
yeah.
look at the schedule, figure out where they're
They,
going to be
they
next.
may not have actually felt necessarily shorted.
Right.
Yeah.
I know when I GM games, I feel there's an enormous amount of responsibility to make sure that everybody had a good time. And sometimes that you beat yourself up over imagined slights, imagined things.
Oh, sure.
And I don't think that it's fair to do that, because everybody is there and they're playing, and if they didn't get up and leave your game, which is the sure sign they didn't like your game, then you're good.
Excuse me, I have to go to the restroom.
Right. Yeah. right. Exactly.
Grab all your stuff.
Grab all
as
of
you
your
go.
things and leave. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to die.
There you go. It's all mine.
And we are our worst enemies.
Oh, sure.
As GMs, we beat ourselves up over every little thing.
yeah.
There's so much emotional energy into the game, and you know, when it's done, was it well spent?
Right?
Right.
Did everybody have a good time? I want to know.
Why am I
Yeah.
doing this?
What am I?
It's like throwing a party and you hope everybody shows up.
Right.
Except they're all looking at you.
Yes. I know. Yes. Entertain me. Dance for me, monkey. What is this? What is this thing that you brought in front of me? You had a sentence, I signed up.
Are you sure you want to use that voice for the remainder of the game?
All right. Thank you very much, Chief Catherder, Charm City Game Day, Larry.
They are awfully judgy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. they really
All right.
judgy.
Annoying con game story from Jim Toe. Hey, crew. I attended CantCon. CantCon? Is it like Immanuel Kant? Was a real pissant?
Very,
Very stable. I digger was a boozy. Sorry, no money python. Sorry. I attended CantCon down in. What? Is it Kant or Kant?
Well,
Like
There's
Immanuel
Emmanuel Kant,
if it's
right?
Can
Or the
Con,
Immanuel Kant.
There you
I'm
Con.
sure you can. But why wouldn't it be CanCon if it's not Can? I don't. Okay, all right.
I attended CantCon.
Can't con. You got a con.
Oh, I attended CantCon. Kansas City. Oh, it's in Kansas City. It's Kant.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, it's in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Recently, July 13th, I'm reading the email at my own pace. July 13th through the 15th, in case you want to get your time machine and come back for a visit. Day one, it was a huge success. I drove 3 hours from Des Moines.
Oh,
That's not.
CanCon.
No.
CantCon. It's in Des Moines. It's in
Can't
Kansas.
pronounce it that way.
It's in Kansas. They'd pronounce it Des Moines in Kansas. In Iowa, they'd pronounce it Des Moines. But in Kansas, it'd be Des Moines, right?
Okay.
Like
I don't know.
Illinois.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
I don't
For all
know.
of you Kansas listeners, you can address your emails to Stuart Venable, SR Venable.
Don't give them my real email address.
No.
HappyJacksRPG@gmail.com. It's got filters for complaints. Later on, I played Lamentation of the Flame Princess. James
Don't fall in any holes.
For the first time, and it was a fabulous group of people. After I played 10 candles in a very large, very dark ballroom, the only light was from the candles. That's awesome. Oh, I want to next one shot.
Okay.
I want to do 10 candles again. We were the only ones in the entire ballroom, and the organizers put up a divider wall so no one could see us.
Oh, that's so cool.
If they happened to walk in. It
It's
was
cool
just the 4 PCs and the GM, and it was fucking amazing.
It's cool that they facilitated that you had the foresight to say, "Can you do this?"
Well,
Right.
it sounds like they knew the game.
Yeah.
The
Right.
organizers. Yeah.
Well, it's like we have the boardroom at the Strategicon conventions. Perfect place to run 10 candles because you close those doors, turn the lights out, nice dark place.
Or 16 candles.
Or 16 candles, right?
Yeah.
I had a Shadowrun game scheduled for day 2, but that night hanging in with my bros. Did I skip something? No.
No, in your bros.
Hanging in my bros' garage and having a few drinks. Geek warned me off it. He had played in it that day, and a bad, unprepared, excessive railroading GM was the name of the game.
Aw.
At one point during the combat, the GM spent 30-plus minutes looking up rules only to finally glance up at one of the players and say, "You miss.
I hope he did it over glasses.
Oh,
You miss." I know that sounds hard to believe. You know what? In my early days, I would do that. I mean, I was like,
At a con.
"Okay, yeah, you missed." No, what? No, con games.
Shadowrun-
We never ran anything that we didn't know really well. at con
Yeah.
games. I haven't done
Also,
that.
depending on the game, oh my god, it's full of charts. We
Oh,
had to
yeah.
make sure we were being fair, and we had to go through all the charts, like if you're playing Top Secret.
Shadowrun is kind of bloated,
It depends on the edition, but they're all really, really thick.
crunchy.
Occasionally, you have players that go, "You didn't look at chart 7!"
I have the 20th anniversary edition or the 25th anniversary edition. I don't know what it is. It's got a little ribbon. It comes up the top of it. It's very nice. Yeah, that book's a hot mess.
But that GM spending 30 minutes to find the rule, I mean,
30
no, it's just like,
minutes.
no,
30
you
minutes.
just
Dude.
adjudicate, man.
That's 12.5% of the time you're sitting at the table spent looking at a rule
Right.
book.
Well, that's when
I
you're.
Oh,
would
but
be
make sure you're doing it
embarrassed. I would be embarrassed.
Right, you'd be embarrassed, but I mean, it's also kind of important that the rules are done right. So that's when you like multitask. You're like, "Hey, dude, why don't you look that up while I'm doing this?"
Right,
'cause
delegate.
if it's really important for it to be right, then and it matters.
Oh, yeah, if it's going to kill someone or something,
Yeah,
sure.
come on, delegate, like multitask.
Or if you're going to run a game.
Know the fucking system.
Yeah, especially if it's Shadowrun.
Right. I know that sounds hard to believe. I myself thought it might be an alcoholic embellishment, but the next day at the con, Geek and I were talking to 2 of the other Shadowrun players while discussing how bad the game was, and one of them said, "Can you believe he looked up rules for half an hour mid-combat just to say, you miss?"
Oh my god.
We got to day 2 of the con, tired and under-caffeinated, but ready to go. I crossed my name off the Shadowrun and replaced it with New World of Darkness set in New Orleans. As opposed to Old Orleans and Old World of Darkness. I got to the table 20 minutes early and took a seat. I immediately noticed there was 1 GM and 6 players for the game. This is a problem because Geek is also signed up for this game and he isn't there yet. I hear the GM tell the other guy, who it turns out was on the wait list, that he can play anyway, regardless if the other guy shows up or not. That would mean 7 players and a GM. Luckily, Geek got distracted by, it's in all caps.
It is.
Got distracted and didn't show up. I got distracted. I was looking at a wall.
I was throwing up all night.
I think the game, with more than 1 GM and 3 players, is at risk for a nightmare scenario.
What?
But I figure I'll try it.
That's like way under what I want preferably, especially for a con game. I want 5 or 6 people there.
I want 4.
4 is perfect.
I
want
But
4.
for con, I'll go 5.
No, see, for con, I like 5 or 6. For like home game, I want like 4, max 5.
In World of Darkness, lots of spotlight, lots
yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, World of Darkness, man.
But that's the problem with con games. You don't know who's going to show up. So if you have that many people, you can kind of spread it out.
Sure.
And you've got some
That's
strong
true.
players. You've got some. I'm also used to herding 36 kids around. So 5 people who are supposedly adults is not that terrifying. 4. Stu's like no 4.
4 for me.
Yep.
4 for me, that's plenty.
Yeah.
I've run games to 5 and 6 and had a fine time, but 4 is just more manageable.
If I can
our game's 5.
Yeah. So I can have 36 kids use a library without talking quietly. 9-year-olds, I can make
Without talking quietly? So they're only talking like this?
without talking, quietly. Like no, you know what I mean. Like being quiet. Never mind. Just keep
And
fucking
also-
going. I'm
I know what you
sorry.
You're not drinking.
I know. I'm on meds. So go.
Oh, okay, all right. It's day 2, but I figure I'd try it. 5 minutes before the start, the GM hands out character sheets to look over and choose from.
I hate you.
What do I do?
Nothing.
I'm covering my mouth when I burp.
I know.
Oh,
Then you blow it though.
no, but I'm blowing it that way.
All right,
I did not smell that. One of the other players glances at her sheet for a few moments and then looks up at the GM and asks a question about something she doesn't understand. The GM opens his mouth to respond, but then closes it because the asshat sitting on my left answers for him. An asshat has a capital A, so that's
his
the
name.
proper
That's
noun.
his name.
That's his
the
name.
proper
Proper.
Okay. A few minutes go by, and girl asks another question, and asshat answers it for the GM again.
Actually, girl. I can hear it. In my mind's eye.
Right.
Actually.
We're 2 questions in now, and the GM hasn't got to answer. Another player asks a question to the GM, and the GM, who is now watching the table like a hawk, rushes into an answer, apparently happy to get the chance to speak. He gets it out, and the player is satisfied. Not 5 seconds later, from the left, the asshat starts in. Well, actually, it means... Oh boy. Ellipses, end quote. We haven't started playing, and I'm harboring an extreme dislike for asshat.
Yeah.
And the guy from the wait list, who is now playing, starts speaking in a very loud and harsh Russian accent.
People who
Well,
do Russian accents.
to be fair,
are assholes.
that's Russian accents.
You can have a...
I don't know.
Very
All the Russians I know are very soft-spoken but severe.
Yes.
You will.
That's German, bro.
Oh,
That too.
There's a fine line.
it's a big.
It's from that part
Yeah.
of the world. And the asshat starts speaking in a very, very slow, quiet, and drawling accent, an old Southern gentleman. They are conversing with each other in these accents from across the table. I want to point out that I don't mind people using accents for the most part. As long as I can hear and understand you, we're okay. The only exception would be people who speak in unnecessarily slow cadences. What does a yellow light mean? Slow down. What? All right. We have a 4-hour slot.
Taxi.
I don't want to spend 60 minutes of that waiting for you to get out your entire goddamn words. Keep the drawl, keep the distinct Southern word usage, but don't make it slow. By now, the Star Trek red alert klaxon is going off in my head.
Dude, I laud that figurative speech. That's awesome.
Telling me
all of us heard it. We all of us hear that.
Telling me to get the fuck out of there. To just pack up my shit and go. I have to go to the bathroom.
I have to go floss my cat. Anything.
But I am a fan of the New World of Darkness, and I never get to play it, so I stayed. Because something, my dear hosts, your pal Jim, is really fucking stupid. The game begins. The GM starts going over the story out of the opening and plot hook. In the middle of it, the asshat and the Russian accent guy, who I will now refer to as Boris. Just start conversing with each other across the table while the GM is laying out the story. The GM gives them each a sideways glance, but says nothing. I realize I have made a huge mistake by staying. The GM sets the scene where we players who are playing as old gods living amongst mortals meet at a bar that is a neutral ground to discuss a common problem that faces us all.
I have a feeling that you're not the only one that regrets their choices. It sounds like the GM is also regretting the fact that he's stuck.
He can actually, anyone could say, well, I'm trying to hear the GM, can you guys shut the fuck up for a minute?
Yeah.
The GM would
Maybe say it a little nicer.
the GM should go, I got to go to the bathroom and not come back.
That's the game I want. That's the horror story I want. It's the one where the GM ghosts the rest of the players.
I don't know. That's hard as a GM. I mean, you don't want to exile people for bad role playing. You know,
But he hasn't said anything yet. All he's done is look at him.
I was going to say, these two will just keep talking. It'll be fine.
It gets better. Wait. Keep
All right.
Asset gets leveled up.
I realize that I've made a huge mistake by staying. The GM sets the scene where we players who are playing old gods living amongst mortal in the neutral ground sets the problems that faces us all. That common problem becomes a moot point immediately because the GM closes his mouth. Asshat McFuckface immediately starts in with his plan that he assumed we would all follow. Or that's what I think it was, as I stopped paying attention after 30 seconds has passed and we hadn't reached the end of the third sentence. He eventually finishes speaking, and then Boris starts yelling, and his character immediately sends his followers to kidnap somebody. Fuck if I know who. There was no discussion. No, maybe we should try this. Hey, what do the other players think about this? Old Boris skipped the foreplay and shot his wad, likely mirroring his real life, except on this day he managed to disappoint half a dozen people at the same time instead of just himself and whatever poor person decided he was worth a fleshy tango.
You're a journalist, man, and you missed your calling. Had National Lampoon been around when you were, you would have been a perfect writer for them.
The GM
love your turn of phrase.
The GM starts working to bring the other players in, but by now the tables around us have gotten louder, so they can hear themselves over Boris the yelling Russian.
Boris Yeltsin.
Yeltsin. Whenever our GM tries to talk, there are a lot of problems hearing him. He has to ask. He's asked to repeat things quite a bit. So now we're roughly 20 minutes into the game.
Oh my God!
While the next wrinkle appears. Oh. As I said, it's hard to hear the GM. It's hard to hear the other players, and Asshat is playing a slow and soft-spoken character. The only one that I can hear regularly is Boris. But even then, it's hard to pick up all the words with that heavy accent in this noisy environment. It's funny, I can hear and understand my brothers yelling at me doing 90 miles an hour down the freeway on our Harleys, but I have trouble hearing fucko Boris from 6 feet away. And now Asshat and Boris have some decided they absolutely cannot stand to have the spotlight on them at all.
Awesome.
I swear they thought it was a kind of life-sustaining heat lamp, because now the GM is trying to talk to the other players. These two fuckholes decide that they're going to just keep having random conversations across the table. In this environment, it's hard to hear just one person talking. But now these two dicks are talking at the same time. Spiffy, the spineless GM, keeps throwing them looks. The other players are throwing them looks and giving them looks. Why isn't anyone saying anything?
We're dealing with a bunch of sort of passive-aggressive players. I'm guessing passive-aggressive gamers.
Oh, my God.
Keep going.
Okay, I'm giving them looks while watching it all go down. They just keep talking. Finally, I say, oh, good. You know, I can't follow two conversations at the same time in a quiet room. Heads nod and a few yas are given. And that solved the problem. For about 10 minutes. Oh, boy. When they started in again, I started the internal argument with myself, do I stay or do I go? After the first 4 seconds of internal debate, I decided I needed to go. So then became the question, how do I go about leaving? I'm going to the bathroom.
Going to the bathroom.
No, that's not what he said.
Take all of your stuff. How do I go about leaving? Just stand up and say, you know what? I got to shit really bad. I'm going to the bathroom. Or you guys are ruining this game for everyone and I'm done. Now, while I had someone to cover me, this was my on-call week for work and I could still get texts or calls. Before I started playing in each game, I warned everyone that I would be looking at my phone because of work. So when I got a random text right around the hour mark, I picked up the phone, looked at it, and said, sorry, everyone, I have to go. Work stuff. Spoiler, it wasn't work.
Uh-oh.
They said they understood, and I packed up my things. No one else thought it was work either, by the way.
No. They were all looking enviously.
God damn it. Why can't I get a page?
Can I be employed by you, please?
Please text me. When you get outside, please text me. Oh, my God, my mom is dying. I gotta go.
Yeah, that's how you handle it. Like, what? Oh, sorry.
It's a round robin. The next person, okay, you text him.
Can I have your cell phone number? You seem like a cool player before I leave.
Oh, my God.
They said they understood, and I packed up and left to go find something to do that was less annoying, like elective rectal surgery. Well, maybe elective, but necessary rectal surgery is not. It's probably more annoying. I've been debating in my head, as far as leaving the table goes, I think I did the right thing. if they had been doing stuff like racism, sexism, homophobia, and the like, I would have called them out right at the table.
Right.
Because they deserve it. But as it was, they were just being loud and perhaps oblivious. My way was the least disruptive. It didn't escalate the situation, and it didn't make it about me.
Yeah.
If the other folks didn't want to say anything on their own, that's on them. And the GM, who knew the game really well, apparently didn't have the ability to tell them to knock it off.
Well, I'm sure he was just side-blinded.
Oh, yeah.
He was like...
Well, it's like a con game is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I made the one comment, but I disliked doing that, as I have always felt it's the GM's job to keep things corralled while they get too loud, too out of hand. What are your thoughts, Jim Toe? P.S. Question for Stu and Starship Troopers. Before Johnny gets sent off on his trial run as an officer, as a third lieutenant, he, Birdie...
That wasn't in the email. That was off the top of Stu said.
He, Birdie, and the other guy are given...
a speech, right?
I don't remember the third guy's name. Anyway, are given a speech by the colonel who mentions the moment of truth. I assume that's where you got the name of the game. Is that correct? Do I win a prize? That is not where I got the game. It's a common phrase. I just got it from the common phrase. But yes, they do. He does mention that in that, and I didn't notice that on my 15th reading, which happened about a month and a half ago.
Very nice.
I think he played it right.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. You have to protect your own time. And it isn't the player's responsibility.
You're paying to be at a con. Your time is your own. If you don't want to be in a game, don't be in a game.
Well, yes.
I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice, I think, if he were to either seek out the GM or leave the GM a note or something saying, you know, it was really hard to deal with this game because there were a couple players, and it would have. I kind of hoped that you would have been a little more assertive with keeping things a little more on track, or a little, you know, asking people not to be quite so.
Yeah, from the outside point of view, when this writing, you know, in hindsight, you're getting the narrative. But I've been in a bad game at a con, a really bad game, and at some point, about maybe at halfway mark, I'm like, this is a really bad game. I'm going to stick this out.
Because I'm on a podcast.
Well, no.
I need a story.
More than anything, I kind of wanted to learn the system. It was a Shadowrun game, and I wanted to know what was going to go on.
It was a Shadowrun game.
And it was awful. And it went over, and these people were, like, you know, presumptuous and assumed that we would know the rules, and then you know, punished us when we didn't know the rules. Oh, you guys didn't realize that when you get into combat at the time, it's like, so we lost because you didn't explain it. Well, anyway. Many things went wrong, but I stuck it out because, you know what? I want to see what these asshats do. Let's see how bad this can actually go. And,
sure.
And I got nothing else planned. And at some point,
and the bar doesn't open until 2.
Well, yeah. And I'm like, there really is no way to make a graceful exit from this. I'm stuck on this. I've got nothing else better. I might as well stick this out and see what happens.
I swear to you, the next time if I play, and I very rarely play in games at cons, but I do occasionally. If I play in a game at a con, and it's horrible to the point where I actually want to insult the people at the table, I will do I have to go to the bathroom and gather up all of my stuff while I make eye contact. And
I would love to have had that foresight, but part of me was like, oh my God, I just want to make it work. I do want to learn the system. We haven't actually started combat yet.
Well, when you're in the moment, it's hard to be ballsy like that.
It is.
You know?
Right.
And I think that it's...
Is it?
well, maybe not.
Well, at
for
some point you're
people,
like, it's got to get better. It can't get any worse.
well, see, in this particular
It can always get
situation,
worse.
I would feel bad for the GM if I ghosted the game.
Yeah.
I kind of would, because it's like
He was looking at you like,
the GM's.
You're the only one.
It sounds like the GM's got like 3 or 4 players who are there to play, 2 asshats.
Yeah.
All you're doing is diluting the good players and increasing the ratio of asshats by leaving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not going to be a better. It's not going to be a better. And it's not like it's your responsibility to stay.
It's not.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, I as a GM, I would feel bad for the GM in this situation.
That's a good way to
would,
put
because
it.
I don't think the GM has a lot of blame here. I mean,
No.
In my game, the GM was the asshat.
Oh, that's
So
right.
there's no winning that.
there
No.
really wasn't, and I had nothing else better to do. So, And
than to play a bad game.
I realized about 3/4 of the way through. Oh, this is one of those nightmare games, isn't it? It didn't occur to me until then because I'm still learning rules and stuff. And I went,
Is that when you started taking notes?
wait a minute. No, because I don't remember enough of it.
Okay.
Because at some point I just went, all right, this is a. Well, I got nothing better to do. I might as well wait this out.
See, there's always
Did you at least have a
something better to do,
smartphone? Did you at least have a smartphone back then?
right?
Yeah,
Or
this
you
was
have a
like,
flip
This
phone.
was like last year, 2 years ago.
Okay.
This is anyway.
No, you haven't had a
My
smartphone
point
now.
being, at some point, you don't realize that you're being gaslighted.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a game, you're having a good time and everything. You're, all right, we rolled up our
Well-
characters, we're figuring stuff out. I got a list of skills, and then all of a sudden you realize that,
You're the
oh
frog.
my God.
You're the frog in the pot of water that's
Right.
slowly heating up.
Right. Right.
What do you
So-
mean, like gaslighted? Like I don't.
Well, I mean that you think you're in the game you thought you were in is not the game that you're playing. Which is what I thought I was going. I thought I would be in this really cool sort of adventure game, but the GM apparently had a different idea about what it is we were going to be doing, and he fooled me and at least 2 other people who didn't show up with characters. He was astonished that we didn't.
Was this
to
like
play
a
his
living
game.
campaign thing or something?
I didn't think so. There was nothing on the description that said that.
Because I know they do some living campaign stuff. in
No,
Shadowrun.
no. This was just
Okay.
a Shadowrun game, according to the description. Show up and play Shadowrun. And then he said, so, the first thing was, so, did you guys bring your characters? And me and 2 other people went, no. And he,
Oh, I'm gone. Right then I'm gone.
I'm like, well, I'm here to learn the game. Well, so you've never played before?
Oh man, that's it.
Holy fuck!
I can't believe you stayed.
Well, no. I'm here to learn the game. Well, we have the starter characters, but can you make Xerox copies of the characters in the book? And one of the guy goes, I brought my character, and I'm like, okay. This was at our con, and so I'm like, okay, all right. Clearly, because there were other people that were misinformed as well. All right, clearly.
Did it
this is
say
not
in the
my
listing
fault.
this is like advanced players or
Nope.
something? No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. So we all get characters. I picked one. The GM's all judgy. Well, are you sure you know how to play that? Okay.
No! I've never played the fucking game before, asshat!
I said that multiple times all the way through, and he led me through it clearly grudgingly, clearly upset that he had to now put training wheels on his game. But
There's a thing on there where you can say this is beginner's welcome,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
I know,
or not.
I understand, and I don't want to. I think it was a partially the cons thing because I think they brought them in because he was lording that over. So well, they flew us in here to play this thing to demonstrate. And the other part is that he maybe misunderstood what
This
his
is not the
role
first
was.
time so-called ringers have been brought in that end up being horrific GMs.
At some yes,
This
I know
is
that
not
guy
the
too.
first
Played
time.
that guy too.
Yeah.
I played with that guy too. But I ended up sitting halfway through. I went, this is fucked, and I got nothing better to do. So I didn't take notes, but I'm like, I just want to see where this is going to go. And for a one shot, I'm not out anything except time. Yes, it ran over, but I'm not out anything except
Of course
time.
it ran over.
It ran like 30 minutes over. And it ended up at TPK. Why wouldn't it? And with the GM looking very, very, El Duce. Yes, you guys have wiped out.
It's not only that, he's a fascist.
Kind of hit a bald head and
Wait a minute.
and
Suspenders? The traditional games run into this more than on the independent games. And I play a lot of Adventure League, and mini games are great, but if you sit at the table knowing there is sometimes a culture around this game, especially older players, especially that have been in the hobby a long time, especially games like Shadowrun, you have to sit at the table expecting a certain amount of disconnect. But this, I don't know. I don't think I would have sat down.
I think, well, here's the deal. I think some people have different ideas, and maybe different cons are different. I know different Ren fairs are different. They have different expectations, different rules, and so I think this guy was brought in from another fair, from another
Con. Right.
and had a different expectation about what it is he was doing.
He's from the con with the costume purists,
Maybe.
and going to the con with the Klingon camp.
Possibly, or
my love.
People show up at that con with pre-made characters,
Right.
Because he was astonished that the 3 out of the 4 of us, or 4 out of 5 of us, didn't have. The point being, it started bad and went worse. But I kept thinking, well, all right, now once we get over this bump, it'll pick up. He'll move along. No, it just didn't. And at what point
Isn't that called?
realize,
Isn't that like Stockholm syndrome?
well, but no. One bad thing. You don't just rage flip. You don't just table flip after the first bad moment.
But when your first impression is, did you guys bring characters? No. Oh, I'm like, are you okay? Are you fainting?
You need some water.
Did you bring
I might have been.
salts?
I might have been a little bit hyperbolic there, but he didn't. Oh, but he did. He was astonished that we didn't have characters. The point being, it was like little bump, little bump, little bump, little bump. After a while, again, halfway through the game, I'm like, I'm not invested. Don't care anymore. Got nothing better to do.
Right.
Let's see how this plays out.
I feel like everything is better to do. Like,
Well-
sitting alone in the lobby and like taking a nap is better to do.
Bar wasn't open.
It's taking a nap. That's why is it taking a nap, not
Okay.
drinking.
All right.
Staring at a wall.
It is an interesting thing sometimes, even to sit through a failed game to at least learn what not to do.
Sure.
Sure.
And and every now and again, it's reaffirming to realize that we actually still are speaking truths, because you run into these GMs who are terrible.
Oh yeah.
If you're ever at a table like this, at Strategicon, get up,
I blame.
grab your things, and go to Games on Demand.
Yes.
Tell them they'll take care
That's
of you.
right.
Yeah.
I think it's probably Coke.
No, he was way too arrogant.
You have no idea. You've no idea.
There was not a lot of.
No, I do. I think it might. Maybe.
Okay,
I think
let's
it might be
just
Coke.
continue. Thank you for the
All right.
email.
We're done. Should we
We
end
are.
it? Thank you
Yep.
for coming out, Chris.
Yay,
Did
Chris.
fun. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate
Good to
it.
be here.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
All
Did I
right.
miss anything?
No,
We talked about your hair.
Yeah.
I'm playing it. Here we go.
Do the thing.
Thank you for joining us for season 22, episode 16 of Happy Chicks Review Podcast. My name is Stu,
My name is Kimmy.
I'm Chris.
I'm late.
Yeah.
and we'll see you next week, 7 p.m.-ish Pacific time
Yep.
on Friday.
Specific time?
Specific
With the working
time.
mouse.
Check out our schedule at happyjacks.org/schedule if you want to watch stuff live.
Or schedule if you're from Britain.
Yes. But also check out on iTunes. We would like you to leave reviews. We have 3 feeds now. We've got the feed that's for the podcast,
the weekly podcast.
the advice podcast. We've got an actual play campaign feed, and we have a one-shot game feed now. So
And if you put in
I
Happy
love it.
Jacks RPG on most of the podcatchers,
It'll
you
find
will
it.
see them there. If you don't, let us know which podcatchers, and we'll make sure they get on there.
Yeah, or if you go to happyjacks.org, they're all listed on the right-hand side of the page. You can find them on most of the major stuff that way, too.
Boom.
So-
Kimmy's been spending an enormous amount of time making sure we're also available on the YouTube.
Yes.
And thank you very much. This is a short song.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll see you next time, and we'll leave with a song.
But
Jack's podcast will be douchebag song. I met a young lass and I wrote her a song. The words were sentimental and it didn't take too long. 'Twas rhyme and 'twas verse and a sung note or two. I quickly compose for this young lass too. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Mine's a love that never wavers when you do me sexual favors. Oh, please, 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 please. I tuned up me lute, I was off to find me lass. This rare opportunity, I couldn't let it pass. Beneath her windowsill, I prepared me song to sing. And with a hopeful heart, I let the first chords ring. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Mine's a love that never wavers when you do me sexual favors. Oh, please, 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 please.
I played the last chord and my heart aflutter started. I looked up to see me true love as the window curtains parted.
But the vision that I saw was both frightening and bad. Silhouetted in her window was the shadow of her dad. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Mine's a love that never wavers when you do me sexual favors. Oh, please, 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 please.
We'll
I looked at him and I knew that I was dead. Then with the measured rage, these are the words to me. He said, whatever you intended for my daughter true, I swear by her maidenhead I will do to you.
Oh, please have intercourse with me. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Mine's a love that never wavers when you do me sexual favors. Oh, please, 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 please.
Well, it goes without saying, I took off with great surprise, for the last thing that I wanted was my bottom sodomized. How could such good intentions be turned upon their ear, with this lovely lass's father coveting my rear?
Oh, please have intercourse with me. Oh, please have intercourse with me. Mine's a love that never wavers when you do me sexual favors. Oh, please, 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 please. Oh, please have intercourse with me.
I really need it.
Oh, please have intercourse with me.
Look at me, I'm desperate.
Mine's a love that never wavers when you do me sexual
just a
favors.
little,
Oh,
just some
please,
head,
please,
that's all I'm
please,
asking
please,
here,
please.
Don't let me die a virgin.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Bum, 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 bum.